Okay, it's time for another rambly video. What up? It's your girl Seaman M. Before I get into the whole first week mumbo jumbo, I just wanted to say a big hello to everyone that's gotten a job. When I first started this channel, my intention was to obviously help people and kind of give you an inside scoop into what goes on, but I didn't know that I would actually help people. I'm so proud of you guys. You've gone on, gotten the jobs, and this video is going to be for you. To those who have been sending me your questions on social media, I apologize. I know I haven't answered them all. It's kind of crazy. There's so many. It's so overwhelming. And some of you have been asking me if I have a job when I'm off of the ship, and the answer is yes. What is that job, might you ask? I recently started a bakery, because that's what everyone does. I totally put all my heart and soul into my work, so if you want to check it out, shameless plug, check here. Okay, so the reason why you're here, you want to know what the first week is like when you're working on a cruise ship. We're assuming at this point everything else is done, you've been hired, you have all your forms, you have all your flights, you know where you're going. So it's flight time. It's very exciting, but it's very sad at the same time. You're going to be leaving your family, your friends behind, very emotional. They've probably thrown you a party. Okay, so we're off to the airport. Now don't be assuming that you're going to have a direct flight wherever you're going to be going. In some cases you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other flights to get you where you need to go. And don't assume that where you're going to be sent is only going to be like an hour away. A lot of people assume that cruise ships come out of Miami, and they do, but they also come out of everywhere else. Europe, Asia, wherever. You could be sent halfway around the planet or the whole way around the planet, depending on where you're going. You could look haggard by the time you get where you need to be. But best case scenario, you only had a 1-hour flight, or maybe 2 flights, but no layovers, and nothing got canceled. As soon as you arrive at the airport, there's going to be somebody there with your company name on a sign. Similar to if you were traveling and somebody was waiting for you and they had your name on a sign. So obviously you're just going to look for that sign, go with that person, and they're going to take you to your hotel. If this is your first time on ships, the hotel can actually be a pretty cool little introduction. Usually your company will use the same sorts of hotels in the same countries whenever they're bringing people aboard, so you're not going to be the only one joining the ship that's staying at that hotel. You might see some other cool looking young people, and maybe even they're going to be wearing your brand splattered across a t-shirt. That's a dead giveaway that they're going to be working with you. If you're social, you could take the opportunity to try and find people that are staying in the hotel that are working with you and maybe go out and see some stuff. The beauty of the flight situation is that they never fly you in the day that you need to board the ship. So you always have some time to settle in the night before you go. If you're flying into like a cool place, say like Venice, take the chance, go out and see some stuff. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is with some new friends. So yeah, check around. Be creep in the hotel lobby. See if there's any kind of indicators that anyone else there is going with you. It might have been on the transport over to the hotel. They might have been carrying people that you're going to be working with. Okay, so you've had an enjoyable night wherever you're staying in your hotel. The next morning, usually it's time to board. Rarely do you get 2 or 3 days in a hotel in your port where you're going to be working, unless it's like super far away. It's just kind of insurance to the company that you did get there on time, in case anything was canceled or rescheduled, etc. At your hotel, they will have given you meal vouchers, or they'll set up a buffet. They'll make sure that you're fed, and it's no money to you unless you want something else. Literally, from the time you've taken your first flight, you're taken care of by the company. Okay, so it's morning of. You're going to get back on the shuttle, because we're assuming again that your hotel is not right next door to a port. Usually it's about 20-30 minutes away, so they need to provide some transportation for you to get where you need to go. Again, on this transport over, for sure at this point, these are the people that are going to be working with you, because very rarely does a transport hit a bunch of different ships and drop people off. Usually they go to one. They're hired by your company and they will bring you all there. So you're pulling up, you're seeing your ship for the very first time. It's very exciting. You're going to usually be put into a port terminal, and you'll wait there until all the guests that are currently on board the ship come off the ship, and then it's time to board the ship. An HR representative from the ship, whether it be the HR manager, training and development, something, they'll come off and they will greet you, and it'll be your first introduction to management on board. Sometimes at this point they'll do some paperwork with you, take some things from you like your medicals, etc., just making sure that you brought everything that you were supposed to bring. It'd be a big oops if you didn't. And then they will take you on board to a larger meeting space where all of you will congregate and have your very first meeting. At this meeting, you're not expected to know absolutely anything at this point, where things are. You're just going to follow the line and they'll take you where you need to go. They're going to introduce you to some of the senior managers on board. They're going to give you your training schedules and give you maybe a bit more paperwork that they need you to fill out, as well as your contracts. So in the training schedule that they gave you, you're going to have your own specific set of training that's your on-the-job training, and then you're going to have this training that everybody on the ship needs to do. So if you're a waiter, you're going to have your wait staff training, but then you're also going to do this specific set of training. If you're an activity host, you're going to have the activity host set of training, but then this as well. Everybody does it. Once the meeting has wrapped, most lines are going to have you be introduced to your buddy. Your buddy is somebody that works in your department. Your buddy will then take you from this meeting to your department. Again, we're assuming that you don't know where to go. And in your department, you're going to meet the people that you're going to be working with for the next however months. You'll get your room key, you'll get your emergency card, which you're not even going to know what to do with yet. And they'll give you anything like job specific. Maybe they'll hand you your name badge, etc. Well, once you've done that, they'll then take you down, show you where your room is. If your roommate's in, you might meet them. If not, you can just start to unpack a little bit. Then it's on to uniforms. You'll go down to the uniform room and don't assume that you're going to get your proper size of uniform on the very first try. I mean, some ships are well stocked, especially if you're going on a new one, but these things travel all over. When they order things, it takes a little while to get to them. So you might wind up in a situation where you're size small like me and you wind up in a men's extra large shirt. It was like a night dress, you guys. It went down to my knees when it was untucked. It actually went down to my knees when it was tucked, and I had to wear that for about 4 months. So yeah, you could be the new noob that looks really flattering in their extra big garbage bag. From there, once you have your uniform and you're all dressed up, usually your first training begins on the first day. You're going to have various trainings, again, the ones that are for everyone that you're going to have to go through. They're going to be on environmental, security, safety, first aid. You'll even have ones that are run by the HR department, like about the company's policies, what they want you to act like, ethics, all that. Most of these classes are going to be an hour to 2 hours each, but safety, you'll probably have about 7 different classes over a 2-week period, and they're usually about 2 to 3 hours each. So safety is your biggest component. In that, you're going to learn how to work a fire extinguisher, the different classes of fire extinguishers, how to use a fire hose. You'll learn about the different muster stations, where people gather in the event of an emergency, where they are, where yours is. You'll learn about the lifeboats, what exactly is in the lifeboats. You'll learn about fire doors, watertight doors, when to use them, when not to use them, the different codes that we reference on the ship when there are certain dangers or certain things happening, and what to do in an emergency. You were given that emergency card by your manager, so now you're going to figure out what exactly that means and what your job or role is. And that's like the briefest summary that I can give you. Throughout these trainings, you're going to also start to set up things like your A-Pass, so your A-Pass being your onboard source of credit when you're on board, as well as your on and off the ship card. If you've ever been a guest on a cruise ship, you know that you have your card / room key, etc. It gets you into your room, it gets you on and off the ship. It lets you buy things. It has your photo attached to it. We have the exact same thing. Only ours actually has like our photo on the front of it. So you want to take a good one because you're going to be living with that for 6 months and everyone's going to be looking at it. You're also going to be setting up your source of payment. So how you're going to be paid by the ship. Most ships now, they have like their own kind of account system, so they give you almost like a debit card and your funds are placed onto the debit card bi-weekly. You can use that debit card when you go off in port and just keep it as is, or you can transfer the money to an existing account that you have. I'm a transfer the money type of person myself, just because I've had the same account like all my life. I kind of did the whole 10% on that card that they gave me and send the rest to my existing account. The 10% was my off in port, have fun kind of funds. So it's a cool way to do it. But I think my card still has like $5 on it. So you have all this stuff to learn, all this stuff that you need to know. You're learning your job as well. But remember that you also need to learn the ship as well. So again, if you've ever been a guest, you know how overwhelming it is when you go on a ship for the very first time. There's so much spread out. You need to take a couple of walks around just to kind of get your bearings, know where you are, know where the things that you need are. You could be near the end of your cruise and be discovering a new area for the very first time. So picture that, but you also need to learn the crew areas as well. You need to learn both guest and crew. So as crew, you need to know where your room is in relation to everything, how to get to your place of work. You need to know where you eat, where the gym is, where the internet cafe is. You learn all that. But then the moment that you step foot upstairs into the guest area, you need to know everything. Guests don't really care if you're new or not, I find. If you're not able to answer a question, it's automatically almost like bad customer service. So you could be new and like right away, I guarantee you, somebody's going to come up to you and ask you where the bathroom is. So you always kind of need to know where the bathrooms are in relation to where you're standing. Also, guests always want to know where the restaurants are. So knowing that is vital to your survival. And on top of learning about the ship, you're also learning about ship life. You're making friends, you're learning who to talk to, who not to talk to, what to do, what not to do. If you're like me, you're making your own rules. You're learning where you and your position can go, where you can't go. Everybody is just sort of filling you in on how it works. You're also kind of taking this time, maybe when you were packing you forgot something. You're realizing now, oh shit, that would have been good to bring. Say you're making your list, you're going off in port, maybe you don't like the sheets that were provided to you, so now you're going off and you're buying your own comforter. You're making yourself comfortable in the space that you have. One girl that I worked with, she even forgot like the shoes that she was supposed to bring for her specific position, so she spent the first 2 weeks looking for the proper shoes. I promise you, especially if it's your first time, everybody's done it, everybody's been there for the very first time. Some of them have been there like 20 years, so they may not remember it, but everybody was new once. And because of that, no one will hesitate to help you. So I think this gives you a general overview of what to expect when you get on. It's not scary at all. You're well taken care of. It's going to feel like clockwork. Again, you're not the first person that's been new. They've done this plenty of times and they know how to handle you. So when I initially set out to make this channel, I had my things that I definitely wanted to talk about. But now I'm kind of getting to the point where you guys have so many questions that I pull my content from that. So if I find that I'm getting the same question over and over and over again, then it could become its own video. So please, if you want to know anything, comment below. As always, guys, if you have any comments, concerns, feel free to contact me. Bye for now.